Video games.
Yeah.
You like them. We all play them. Remember buying them back in the day. You remember purchasing them.
Yeah.
2600, 7800, TurboGrafx.
Nintendo, Super Nintendo.
Well.
Yeah.
Okay.
What do you mean no?
That's okay.
What do you mean that's okay?
Well, I'm just saying, like.
I never bought those. I bought Nintendo and Super Nintendo games.
No, I understand that. This is just an example. This is just a boxed version.
No, but I'm just saying because you lowered your energy when I said Nintendo and Super Nintendo, which is the heyday of our
It is,
games.
and that's what we're going to get into here. We're going to get into talking about what it was like to purchase games back in the day, where there weren't pre-orders, there weren't.
Well,
no, sometimes they
there
started doing
were
that maybe in the Super NES era.
Yeah,
because I remember going out pre-order.
We'll get into it. You know, what's up, Spaz? What's going on? Nope, it's Thursday.
Yeah.
Go for it. Go ahead. Keep going. Sorry, break the train of thought.
So, earliest memory of you going out and buying a video game? Go.
So the earliest one isn't necessarily... Okay, no, it is. So, being at Toys R Us.
Yeah. The flaps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Being at Toys R Us.
Uh-huh.
Wanting a game.
Yeah.
And I've said this story a bunch of times, but it's that thing where you're at Toys R Us with your dad or your parents, right? And with your dad, and you're showing, look at this one, Dad, look at this one. You're just hoping that he's just going to be like, okay. He's going to give you the nod, and he's going to be like, okay, get one. But
You getting a Star Wars figure instead.
no, it was. So, point is, I got Platoon, Silent Service. I got games like that because I wanted a game.
Oh, and you
thought I had
to tune that in.
Yeah, I thought I had to schmooze my dad by saying it's because he loved like war movies and stuff. And look, Dad, it's a game on Platoon. Now, Platoon and Silent Service are two of the hardest games that you get on the Nintendo Entertainment System.
Yep, never got past the rank of ensign.
Oh, on Silent Service. Yeah,
no matter how many ships I sank.
Yeah, no,
it didn't matter.
It was ridiculous.
It didn't matter.
So what about you?
For myself, I'd say that it was. I remember going to get Atari 2600 games, and I remember.
Yeah, so you were really because 26 or 78 because
no, it was 26 because I had a 2600. Then I lent it to my friend. His dog chewed the wires, and it was dead. And then they came out with the 7800 around the same time that the NES came out.
Right.
And my way to get one was to. I could use all the old games on it.
Okay, yeah.
You know? Yeah. And that's how I wound up with a 7800.
Right.
Because I could play the old games. And now was like Commando on the 2600. My friend had it on the NES.
Yeah.
And I was like, it doesn't look all that much different. Yeah, it did. Look up Commando on the 2600 in comparison to the NES version.
Yeah. You were just in denial because you had no choice but to be.
So I'm like, I'm going to go out and get Commando, and I got Commando, and I remember going to the store and going with the flap, and the same thing with Joust. You know, I mean, he didn't have Joust, but I remember buying like Joust.
Yeah.
I also remember going. Well, we can talk about gifting in a different spot, but yeah, that was probably my earliest one. Is getting 2600 games for my 7800. Just because I could.
Because you could. Were they cheaper at that point?
Yeah, they were cheaper.
So that because when was 7800 games more expensive?
7800 games, yeah, I think they were a little bit more.
What did they run back then?
I don't even remember. I remember games were never really over like $50. They might have been like $40, $50. Something like that. Because I remember Super NES is when I started to go into like the 80.
Yeah, because I spent
$90 territory.
So you mentioned, I mean, I guess I can go into it now. Another memory is I saved up money to buy Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
Because I knew was it Mortal Kombat or Mortal Kombat 2? I think it was Mortal Kombat.
Okay.
I knew it was coming.
They had pre-orders when Mortal Kombat was.
And that's my point.
And that was
I
Super
pre-ordered it from KB Toys.
Right. Okay. Really?
Okay. KB Toys. Yeah. I pre-ordered at KB
Mine
Toys,
and
it was like 75. Well, you were closer to the mall than I was. KB was like not that close because I'll tell you this much. So you know where the beach is. You were just over there, right? Smith Point. I lived 3 blocks away from that, down in there a little bit, right? And then now you know up where like Boston Market is.
Yeah.
Up by Montauk Highway, right? Yeah. I lived down there, and my friends and I, he also pre-ordered it. We rode up to there.
You on your bike?
Yeah.
Really?
From there all the way. In fact, we were actually down even more by the water into the town more, over by the bay and stuff where he lived. Yeah. Went to his house, rode all the way up there because it was like kind of like a back way and stuff, right? Still long to get it, and we went home and we played it. But I remember saving up money. It was $75 for that game, and I remember just saving up money, and then like finally the pre-order's in. Oh, it's in. Let's go get it. And that was thinking back now, like, how the hell did I even do that? How did I even manage to save up that much money?
I don't know.
I just, all my allowance. I used to get an allowance back then. And
that's cool. Okay. So moving on. As we got older, it was easier to get games, right? Because there were pre-orders at that point. Were there any games that you needed to hunt out? That somebody needed to hunt out, a parent, a friend, like something like that. Because the thing is, you'd have Christmas lists, you'd have birthday lists, and people would go out and buy games. So
I want to get into that. I want to get into that real quick. Now,
get into it.
I've told you the story before. I'm going to say it again for people who haven't heard it, and on this particular podcast. So I asked for the Super Nintendo game Jurassic Park. Okay. Remember this? And
yes,
we knew we got it, but before we got it, we unwrapped it.
Yes.
We found it in my mom's closet, unwrapped it, played it, beat it, rewrapped it, and on Christmas morning,
I still don't understand how you beat Jurassic Park.
My brother and I, we both did it.
I could never do it. You had to pick up those eggs,
we
and I was like, I even used like a guide to find the eggs, and I'm like, I'm still missing two eggs.
We tag teamed it and wrapped it up on Christmas morning. Yeah. They were so excited for us to get it, and we were like, oh, great. All right. And we just,
bye.
And thinking back now, like, we were like, maybe we should have been a little bit more excited, because they were like, oh.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, they're going to
yeah, exactly. So that happened. So that was something when I asked for it.
Yeah. I remember there being an issue with, like, Super Mario Bros. I finally got an NES for Christmas one year.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. It was the action set. It came with the gray zapper, because that's the only zapper that's out there. Orange one doesn't count. It was a gray zapper.
Yeah.
It came with Duck Hunt and Super Mario Brothers on the same cartridge. And I got, well, I'll just go real quick. Christmas present, I got Life Force and Contra with it. And I was, this is the greatest thing in the world.
Yeah.
And so where I was going on, Super Mario Brothers 2 came out. Okay, sometime after that.
Yeah.
And I remember it being impossible to get.
Yeah.
Impossible.
Super Mario Brothers 2.
Yeah, Super Mario Brothers 2.
Okay.
And my mom was calling stores. Do you have it? Do you have it? Do you have it? Do you have it? And called Crazy Eddie.
Oh, yeah.
And they had it at Crazy Eddie, and she drove to go get it, and she got 2 copies, one for myself and one for my friend.
Wow.
And that was
How
it
much
to surprise him.
They were
So
like $70,
but that was the thing.
$80.
No, not for Super Mario Bros. 2. No.
They weren't?
40, maybe $40,
maybe
$50,
$50,
maybe max $50. But I remember her going there because it was sold out everywhere.
Yeah.
Sold out. And I remember Super Mario Bros. 3 was another issue. We used to go to McCrory in the mall. Smith Mall, for people from New York, Long Island, whatever. There was a store called McCrory where I just remember big pretzels, and it was like a department store and weird.
Yeah.
It was a cut through in the mall.
Yeah.
It went from like, Sears over to like A&S or something like that. So in there they had an NES that you can put quarters into, and it was like you had 5 minutes of playtime or something.
Yeah.
And you play for like, a few minutes, and they had Super Mario Bros. 3 on there. So we used to go to the mall
and play that,
and play it. It used to be mall
trying to think if I
downport, mall downport. Like we'd alternate and everything, like wherever we went, Port Jefferson.
Yeah.
And then so we go to the mall and we'd play the heck out of this game. And I remember my friend's mom picking us up from the mall, and he like passed back the instruction booklet for Super Mario Bros. 3. His mom bought it for him.
And you were like, oh.
And I was like, oh my gosh, how'd you get this? I don't remember when I got it. I got it at some point. I don't know if I got it for a birthday, Christmas, anything. Anyway, games were difficult to find, is basically what I'm saying. They were difficult.
I don't remember having problems finding games.
There were certain games like the 2 Super Mario Brothers games.
I'm trying to think.
Were super
because
difficult to find.
I got Mario 3. I don't remember having a problem getting it.
I mean, you could be in a different area maybe.
But then again, don't forget, I would either go to Toys R Us or we'd go to KB Toys.
Yeah.
There was also Caldor. I'm trying to think. Yeah, it's funny because I also got, like you said, I got the Nintendo for Christmas. The pack had the 2 games, but then I got Bionic Commando.
Okay.
Like right away, like straight. Like I had that game like since I had that system, because I just always went back to it. And then I'm just trying to think, and I do believe I had the orange one, the orange gun. I think was that me or my friend? Was that me or my friend?
Weak.
I remember having Duck Hunt challenges with like my friend, but his dad would always play and always beat us, and like he didn't care that we were kids. He just wanted to beat us, right? Yeah. But he had an orange one, so maybe that's what I'm thinking of. I think I probably had the gray one. Anyway,
I hope you did.
It's so weird because I think back and I'm like, you have all these games, and like I don't have a really good recollection of when did I get those games. Like again, I remember getting Platoon and like those games specifically, but then like where did Super Mario Brothers 3 come from? You know, where did Mario Paint come from? Like I don't even remember.
I was taking computer art in high school.
Yeah.
It was computer art. That was the class.
Yeah.
And, hey, Mom, this would really help me in class. Okay. Oh, man. And I ended up getting it for, like, Christmas or something. I tried to squeak it out in between, like, the birthday Christmas part. Didn't work.
Yeah, no.
She's like, I'm not, no. You know, again, Mario. And then I got it for Christmas, and I was like, you know.
You know what I wanted to say? Just to kind of pull back a little bit. For you and I, like, games have been a part of our lives. Yeah. Our entire lives,
but
really.
There were also other things, like this stuff.
Yeah, but I'm just thinking back because right now
I know because I'm attributing it in my head to people who play video games today. But there are a lot of kids that that's all they do is play video games.
Right, but and you know and guys our age are out of video games. Like a lot of them. I haven't played since Nintendo. This and
but
that.
It's all about moderation.
But the thing is, like for me, like it's one of the biggest things in my life. Like if I go,
it's a form of entertainment. That's it's always there.
Yeah, and
if I want to watch a movie, fine. If I want to play a video game, fine. If I want to listen to music, fine.
You see, but that's the thing. The way it is. But that's the thing. If I have the choice, or if I have to choose, I choose games all the time. Over a movie.
See, I find games to be it is an active form of entertainment. You have to be involved in order to do it. There's a level of frustration. There's a level
maybe for you there's a lot of frustration for Kenny.
But that's the thing is if you watch a movie it's passive.
It's passive. It
just goes and it happens. And sometimes you watch a stupid Star Wars movie that annoys you, like the last dumb one that came two dumb ones that came out.
Coming on Netflix too.
Oh, it's such a dumb.
I haven't seen it though.
You watched it? Last Jedi?
No. Oh, that one
is horrendous.
That one's already on there.
And the thing is, that's the only time that I watch a movie and I'm just like,
like
I don't even want to look back. I don't even want to watch an old Star Wars movie. That's how much it just bothers me and I know we're not talking about that. Let's go to the videotape real quick.
We're going to go to the videotape.
Spaz remembers going to the Circus World toy store, having gotten a launch NES system. Ooh, you got a launch.
Wow,
nice. I think I probably got mine in 87 or 88.
Yeah, I think that might have been the time I had. By the way, if you're listening to this, we're live streaming this. If you didn't know, we live stream this also. You can watch the videos, and he's checking the chat right now.
And asked the guy there if he could recommend a good game. He recommended Super Mario Brothers. You were skeptical.
It didn't come with it though?
No, the original ones came with Gyromite and Duck Hunt.
Oh, bad.
Yeah, he said he was like 8 years old. He got the NES that came with the Zapper, Duck Hunt, Gyromite, and Rob. Nice. First year it came out.
Oh,
that's the good set.
Yeah, that is.
Two games.
The Rob.
That was it. Sign into use app. What's happening?
What's up, app?
People that stop playing games are weird. I agree. It's a legitimate form of entertainment.
It's a multi-billion-dollar industry right now.
Spaz, yeah. Come 42, on. Good age, because that's exactly
But what I'm saying is, what I want to say, like, I just want to kind of reiterate, like, it's kind of blowing my mind. Like, I'm thinking back and, like, you couldn't find games. Like, that's now.
Yeah, TV is garbage.
You call up GameStop now or Best Buy now, and they're like, we're sold out of this, we're sold out of...
Yeah, but that's the thing is because you pre-order. Now, I worked in an electronics boutique for a while.
Right, yes.
And the thing is, there were certain titles where we get literally one. And somebody would call up, and they'd get it, and that would be it. And then somebody else, nope, don't have it, sorry. Nothing you can do, you should have pre-ordered it. You know what I mean? Like,
but you didn't get any more? Like, that's the thing.
No,
like,
eventually another one would show up or something like that. But then there were limited games, like a lot of role-playing games. I never got into role-playing games, all right? The only one I really got into and played was Chrono Trigger. It was on a recommendation. I was like, all right. But that's the thing is you played games back there when you got them all the time. So it was a new game. I went through it. It was fine. It was okay.
Yeah.
I wasn't addicted to anything like that. You know, it was role-playing. That's all. But a lot of the times when I worked there, the systems that were out were Xbox, PlayStation 2, and GameCube. Those were like the big three. And they came out, and there were a lot of role-playing games that came out that we'd only get enough for pre-orders even. So if we had like
That
4
always
people
blew my
pre-order,
mind. Yeah,
that's
that
the thing.
blew
4
my
people
mind,
pre-ordered
yeah.
or 2 people pre-ordered. We get them sometimes with like special like art books or CDs or something like that, right? And that would be it. And then other people would come in and be like, "Hey, this new game just came out today. Do you have it?" And we'd be like, "No."
Yeah.
Because we only got enough for pre-orders.
That's upsetting.
And that's horrible.
That's upsetting.
But that's the way.
Do you think physical game stores are going to go away? Because now
it really seems to be going in that direction.
But I'll tell you this much, and it's probably not enough to cover the cost. But like I was in GameStop today, and I was in GameStop last week. Like I go there probably like once a week, if not with you, then on my own or whatever. And it's like, whether you buy anything or not, half the store now is toys.
Yes.
And it's like, but I mean, it's not just random.
Because
it's
they're realizing there's no
merchandise.
Money. Unfortunately, there's no money in games, and the thing is, there's no. Oh, gosh, what other used market aside from like cars is there?
That right, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, yeah, okay, there's
used,
records and there's
used
CDs
games,
and stuff like
though,
that. But
like
they
used
make
games,
such a killing. But the thing is, do they need to have used games? If none of that money goes to the people who make the game, does the used game
profit for them?
Yeah, does the used game market really need to be there to save $5?
But for those stores, yeah. For those stores, yeah.
But the thing is, for you to purchase it and save $5, totally worthless. But for somebody to sell their game back that they just bought for $60 and get like 20,
if it's a new game,
like they're making $25.
I'll put it this way: I was in GameStop today to finish my Christmas shopping. Mm-hmm. If you're watching this before Christmas or whatever, and I tried to sell back a couple of things that I had, and he's just like, "No, they wouldn't even take it." Like a PS4 game, 2 PS4 games, and they wouldn't even take them.
Yeah, because you probably look at the shelf and they have a stack of them.
But it wasn't even. It doesn't. Whether they have multiple or not doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
It was worth nothing. Yeah. And I'm like, but I bought this thing. Yeah. How is this worth nothing?
Like 10 cents, 25 cents sometimes.
It was. I'll tell you,
like
one of them was
worth nothing.
Dude, one of them was a copy of Destiny. Yeah. The Taken King with the 3 expansions.
Nope, does not matter because guess what? Destiny 2 is out.
Matter.
Yeah,
right.
Doesn't matter.
But you'd think at least
it's worthless.
5 cents. Give me 10 cents for this thing. Give me anything.
Worthless. Right?
And I was there to see if I can get a used game for the Switch. It's for the kids. Relax. It's for the kids. Didn't have it used. And I was like, okay. You know what I mean? And it's like, so where is that? You know, it's so interesting that I don't know, man. But I think that if where are you going to get games from if there aren't any physical things? Because a lot of people don't want to buy digital. A lot of countries don't have good internet. Australia has horrible internet. Yeah. You know how long it takes them to like get a game digital, and it takes days to download.
This is all different discussion.
No, but it's still. We're talking about ways of getting games. I'm just saying.
Well, we're just saying
we've pushed to the future, yes. But if you want to pull it back, we can pull it back.
Let's pull it back and go back and pre-ordering video games. Mm-hmm. Okay, now you're old enough to drive to the store. You're old enough to drive to KB. You're old enough to drive to Toys R Us.
I went there all the time.
What?
I thought I stopped that again.
What did you? What was like one of your first pre-orders?
Well, Mortal Kombat was probably the first pre-order I did. That was so for Super Nintendo. Okay. And then after that,
like did you pre-order games on a regular basis?
No, I didn't. Did you?
Yeah.
Did you really? Yeah. What's one you did?
I remember Street Fighter 2 was one of the first, and that was an expensive game. That might have been like $70, $80 or something like that.
Did I pre-order that?
16 meg cartridge and all that.
Yeah, but I don't remember pre-ordering that.
I pre-ordered that. I pre-ordered Turbo. I pre-ordered Super Street Fighter 2. I pre-ordered Mortal Kombat 2. Donkey Kong Country.
For
there were Nintendo? Yeah, there were a whole bunch of games, and that's what I started doing.
Did you have to
pre-ordering? Did I have to? I think it's kind of like how I attribute it to like going to the movies now. Do I need to go and reserve my seats at the movie theater and pay the extra money? Yeah,
you kind of do, because if you get there late,
I'm not playing that game when I go there waiting in line for 2 hours.
So I see what you're saying.
You see what I'm saying? So I knew that when I came home from school, I would get a ride or I would drive myself to the mall, get the game, and come back home, and play it.
So
and I knew it was there for me.
Right. So here's the thing. I just
roll the dice.
Right. I just remembered as I got older, I didn't have to because I had a friend that worked at KB.
Okay, fair enough.
So I used to have them hold me a copy of something. Yeah. But again, I don't remember when I got like Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo. I don't remember when I got that game. I had it. I didn't rent it. I also rented a lot, but you also rented a lot. No?
Like if I was having like a sleepover or something, my friends were coming over, yeah, we'd go to Blockbuster.
Let me ask a question. What games did you rent more? Because I rented a lot of Nintendo games.
Yeah.
I don't recall renting a lot of Super Nintendo games. I bought a lot of Super Nintendo for some reason.
Super Nintendo was around the time of the Blockbuster.
Right, well, hold on.
Because I used to rent games from the actually, technically, did I even rent games? I don't even know if I rented games or if my friend just rented games.
You played them.
I think I might have rented a couple NES games here and there at the drugstore up the road, you know?
Well, I had one of those too,
and he would rent them from a video store.
Yeah.
You know, they come in like the plastic clamshells and stuff like that. But Super NES was like the Blockbuster.
Yeah. That's when that came around. Yeah.
And that was when I started renting games and playing like ActRaiser and Contra 3 and
yeah, I mean, I guess I did rent them.
Rock and Roll Racing, you know, like just games like that. There were a lot of the times I'd rent games that I wasn't really interested in purchasing.
Just because you wanted,
if I wanted to buy a game and they had it available for rent, I wouldn't. I would make sure I bought the game instead.
Yeah, well, that's the whole point. I purchased. In fact, I purchased, I think, a bunch of games from Blockbuster, used games.
Oh, used ones, yeah.
Yeah, because they were fine. They were fine. Yeah.
Well, that's the thing is, the only two I ever did, I found a Dracula X for Super NES there that I bought used, and I found a Final Fight Guy that was there, orange box, Blockbuster exclusive, which is probably worth a pretty penny right now, and I would not even want to look it up on eBay. No. But I did have that.
Yeah.
And gosh, that was such a mistake. Why did I get rid of it?
I also remember, but like what I'm saying is the next generation was. There you go.
Mm-hmm. Next generation was what?
The next generation was.
What's it say?
It's reconnecting to OBS. It's gonna keep pinging though.
Well, let's look at this and read this real quick.
What do you got?
41.
Oh yeah, it's 8:30, so that's about it. That's the time.
8:30, interesting.
That's the time.
Yeah.
Yep. That's the time we lose. We lose it.
All right, so let's just let's look at this. Yes, sign in to use app 41. I'm with you, man.
Do me a favor, can you start and stop that for me?
EB Games, so much better before they got bought by GameStop. I agree 100%. You're not going to see this on there, probably. Oh, 2, good. Hope physical copies stick around. Prefer them over digital, because once servers go offline, you can never access. 100% true. Hard drive space, consoles nowadays, you can never install all your digital games, so you'll be able to play them when Live or PSN goes offline for good. Good point.
Yep.
Digital games are basically licenses. Another good point. This is all the spaz. They need to lower the prices of digital games to beat out physical copies. Yes, 100%. If you can buy a digital game for, $30.
There's no reason to have a $60 game when there's no media. Mm-hmm. There's literally no reason to have that.
Because then it goes bye-bye.
It means it is literally
buffering, what happened?
No reason.
I'll text in. It's been doing this lately at this time. Last we've seen, yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. What I was saying was I rented a lot of PlayStation games. I remember renting a lot of PlayStation games and like PlayStation 2 games and stuff. And then I did GameFly for a while for PlayStation 3
you did?
and Xbox 360. I did GameFly. I remember playing the Wolverine.
Yeah, we're getting into territory we shouldn't be getting into.
All right, well, you know what? Look, I think...
No, there's
what do you
more.
got? You got a little more?
Yeah. Like birthday parties and stuff like that. I remember one time my friend gave me, going back to Atari 7800, he gave me a copy of Centipede, which the thing is, he knew I had this game. He gives me Centipede for Atari 7800 in just a white box. It was just this, a white box. Mm-hmm. And I open it up, and right on the top is a copy of Centipede. Mm-hmm. And it was that was it. And I was like, thanks, and I was like, I have this. And I'm like, do you have the receipt? And so, oh yeah, I can bring it back to the store, or I brought it back to the store. I tried to bring it back to the store. And I go to Toys R Us with the white box, and they go, what the heck is this?
This isn't it. Yeah.
Yeah, they're like, this isn't how you
But
got
it was a
this.
box
And I
like
was
that?
it was just all white, 100%, just white.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I'm like, this is how I got this. And my friend said I can just come back here and return it. And they're like, no. And I was like, really? And they're like, yeah. And I was like, okay. So I remember going back and like talking to him. I'm like, dude, I'm trying to like return the game. They won't take it. And he's like, I'll go back there. And he went back with his mom and everything, and they exchanged it. But I'm like, it was the weirdest thing.
That's so weird.
Right? Isn't that
White
strange?
box.
It's just a white box.
That's weird.
So I'm like, I wonder if he got it like someplace else, and they just had like generic boxes that they throw it in, kind of like Blockbuster had like those cases that they'd sell the movies in.
Yeah. So I will tell you, they used to have, remember, computer shows.
Yeah.
And we used to go there a lot. Now, can we talk about not just console stuff? Like, what about the computer?
Well, just
because
getting games.
Because I used to get a lot of games from computer shows. Mm-hmm. My dad and my brother and I would go to computer shows and we'd get a lot of
like
CD-ROMs. CD-ROMs, yeah. And floppy disk games. Yeah. And also Comp USA. Remember Comp USA?
Yes.
I used to go there a lot.
Yeah.
And so here's the thing. Hold on. We weren't just console gamers. We were also PC gamers. Mm-hmm. I had a lot of games on the PC.
Nerd. I'm kidding.
I don't give. Yeah, I am absolutely. I'm wearing a shirt with freaking Mario on it. We were PC gamers. Okay. I played games on everything, and we used to get like I remember a little older now in my 20s, but my brother and I pre-ordered The Sims, the original Sims, and we pulled our money and we got The Sims. And I remember one day. He came home. I was at college or whatever, and he was working where we came home and we sat there and we played it together. And we just swapped back and forth. And, so I don't want to forget the computer games, man. I got a lot of those things, man.
Yeah, you got the computer games. I never had the computer games.
I spent a lot of time on that.
TurboGrafx. I remember going to purchase TurboGrafx one time, and I went to the mall with my friend who had a Genesis. Mm-hmm. And I know I've mentioned this in the past, but he's standing there at the wall of
all the Genesis games,
like just this huge wall of Genesis games, like from if you're looking at the screen here right now, from here to here was Genesis, and then from like here to here was TurboGrafx, like this little strip. And I remember just standing there, I'm like looking at the Genesis, like I hate Sega, and then I go over and I'm looking at the TurboGrafx games, and I'm like, it's the same games that I had last time.
Yeah.
Stupid Jack Nicklaus Golf, which I actually purchased at one point because there was nothing. So let me get it. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I'm just standing there, and I'm just like, it was Electronics Boutique, and I'm just standing there, and I'm like, oh my god. And there's another guy who's looking there, and he's like, yeah, he's like, me too, man. He's like, I should have gotten a Genesis. He's like, I got the wrong system.
Yeah.
I was like,
yeah, but you loved your TurboGrafx.
It's in hindsight, yes, 100%. But it was very frustrating to have one.
And they made no games for it
because they didn't make games for it. But you'd find people to trade with in school, like the two people who had a TurboGrafx you became friends with because everybody else had an NES still or a Genesis.
See that's what I'm going to tell you. One of the deciding factors of not getting a TurboGrafx was that. Because
nobody else had it.
They weren't, and I used to get gaming magazines, and I would see there's no games for it, and the games that were on it did not seem like anything that I cared about.
And that's the thing is, you wouldn't have unless you had one.
No,
and that's the thing is having one totally shaped a lot of how I perceived and how I took in video games.
Yeah.
Because I understood, and I started having no choice but to go out and try double dungeons because there was nothing else.
Yeah,
get legendary axe. I wasn't interested in the graphic style or the arts. The subject matter of the guy with an axe and stuff like that. And I never liked any of that barbarian stuff.
Yeah,
but that's all there was.
Yeah.
Bonk. Oh, that's my Mario. That's my Sonic.
Well, it has to be at this
Bonk.
point.
I have to get it, and get that and play it and everything. And it was kind of weird how it just shaped the way I played games and took them in.
Well, one of the main reasons, besides no games and stuff, that I didn't get that was I played on the computer. Yeah. So the computer had those graphics. I had the ability to have 16-bit and all this stuff, because I was playing CD-ROMs.
Right. Yeah, no, that's fine.
So I've been playing on games that were on CD before the CDs became a console thing.
Yeah, so you never got that system. So,
but anyway, so that's
all right. So the death of 16-bit, the death of 8-bit, brought a lot of clearance specials in the stores. Mm-hmm. did you stock up on anything during those times? Because I did. I remember going to like 112 Video in Medford and stocking up on boxed NES games like crazy because they were so cheap. And I'd just go there and I'd buy like just a wad at a time. Like, here's 8 of them.
Yeah,
A few weeks later, I go to see my friend. Here's another 8. Get another batch of games. And going to KB in the store, toy store, they were clearancing out a lot of games.
Yeah.
I got Snatcher for the Sega CD there for like $14.99 in the clearance bin that they used to put in the middle, like right in the front, you know?
Yeah.
And there were a lot of games. They'd be clearing those out. They'd be clearing out, Genesis games. I get Sonic the Hedgehog, and all these games that I wasn't interested in getting, but now the systems were so cheap that I was able to go and just get them cheap someplace and get all these games that were like brand new and in the box. I had Castlevania Bloodlines, before I had a Genesis. I had, Snatcher, like I said, before I had a Sega CD, and I was able to get all these things.
Yeah.
And build a big collection.
Yeah, I don't. I did. I picked up a few here and there. I don't recall at this point what I did or didn't, but I do remember that. Yeah, they, the thing is, it's sad to say for me, and I'm still like this now, but like, I never go back. Like I never used to go
to the
back.
older systems.
Yeah, so
I had a thing where I was starting to collect, like big time. You remember
yeah,
that,
but I would say I never collected. I never collected. It was one of those things where it's like, what am I going to do?
I wouldn't get rid of.
games. Once the Super Nintendo came, like I was all about Super Nintendo.
Yeah. Did you save boxes?
I tried. I did.
I had every box from every game.
But then, again, my mom was like, "Why are you giving these for? Get rid of them, blah blah blah." And then I had like a case where I put everything in, So I don't know. But anyway, yeah, I think. Look, man, I think that should do it. We don't get too long in the tooth here on this subject. So I'm gonna go ahead and say, what do you guys think? What were how did you get games? How did you acquire games?
Well, yeah. What were just some of your memories of getting games?
Like where did you go? Some of the in chat you said you went to some places. We told you a couple places we went to. Presents. I'll finish by saying I don't recall besides like my parents maybe like again like I said Jurassic Park or a couple of games for Christmas. Like I never really got those for Christmas because I still loved toys at the time. So to me, Christmas was for like toys. And my birthday, I probably got something for my birthday. A game or two here or there growing up.
I remember getting for Easter one year, Friday the 13th on NES. That was in my Easter basket.
That was one of the early ones I had.
That was cool.
That's cool in your Easter basket.
My Easter basket.
That's pretty cool because I had that was again another one that I had that I never beat.
Yeah, no.
And I owned it
so
and never beat it.
It was so difficult.
But the thing is, don't forget, I had a brother who also played, which means we had at least twice the amount of opportunities for those special occasions.
Yeah, that's good. So, fun times.
All right, that's it.
So,
that's going to do it.
Yeah, hope you enjoyed it. And that's it.
Thank you for watching. Get to us on all socials at Retro Squad and look at our other stuff. And thanks.
Bye.
Bye.